Hello and welcome to today's lesson. I'm your hard-working but indefatigable teacher, Mr. Burton. You will need to watch this video and take notes as you go. You may need to watch certain parts of the video a few times to ensure complete understanding. This is your homework and I will check your notes tomorrow before we get started. I hope you learned something.
Okay, on to today's topic, and this topic is supply functions. Supply functions is a higher level topic. Okay, the supply function takes the form of quantity supplied equals C plus dP. An example there is quantity supplied equals minus 20 plus 10p. And this is simply an equation that lets you know how a variable like supply is determined, and it's called a linear function because just like demand, it produces that straight line when it's graphed. So, what does the equation tell us? The equation is stating how the price, which is P in the equation of a good or a service, determines the quantity supplied. How does the price determine quantity supplied? That's all this equation is. Quantity supplied. The quantity supplied when the price equals 0 is the x-axis intercept, because d times 0 is 0. Anything multiplied by 0 becomes 0, as we are well aware. And the second part of the equation, plus dp, the d part, tells us how steep the demand curve is going to be. Now that's the coefficient that determines the slope of the supply curve, whether it's steep or relatively flat. And this measures just how responsive the change in quantity supplied is going to be to changes in price. So if we have a look at the supply curve there, S1 with the supply equation, QS equals minus 20 plus 10p, that's relatively flat compared to the second supply curve there, S2, quantity supplied equals minus 20 plus 5p. And that means that supply 2, S2, this good or service is relatively more responsive to a change in price. So sometimes a small price change can produce a large change in quantity supplied because it's relatively easy to expand supply. So resources are quite interchangeable. For example, land. You can have pastures where you can farm beef or lamb, and they're quite interchangeable. But sometimes a large price change is going to result in a small change in quantity supplied because it's difficult to expand supply quickly. Resources aren't that interchangeable. For example, if we took the resource of labour, that factor of production, there are vastly different skills for doctors and farmers. So if we wanted to expand the supply of medical services, it is going to take, in New Zealand, at least 7 years to train a farmer to become a doctor. So the supply of medical services might be quite fixed there. Calculating quantity supplied, this is nice and easy. It's just simple substitution. We plug in the variable for P. So if the price is $5 and we have the quantity supplied function here, QS equals minus 20 plus 10p, all we're doing is multiplying that final 10 by the price. A 10p means 10 multiplied by the price. 10 and p is in brackets because we need to calculate that first. And all we are doing is QS equals minus 20 plus 10 times 5, minus 20 plus 50. So the quantity supplied at the price of $5 is 30 units, 30 tons, 30 kilograms, we're not sure. Constructing a supply schedule. Just like we did the demand schedule, all we're doing is substituting a price in and determining the quantity supplied at each price. So remember, the P part is the price. So in the supply equation, QS equals minus 20 plus 10p. Our first price is $0, so 10 times 0 will give us a quantity supplied of minus 20. $1 minus 10. $2, we have 0 being supplied. And now we start to get a positive quantity supplying. So $3, 10 is the quantity supplied, $4.20, $5.30 supplied, $6.40 is the quantity supplied, and at a final price of $10, the quantity supplied is 80 units. Now, if the supply function for a particular good or service was twice as steep, so take for example 5 for D instead of 10 as in the table below, the quantity supplied is going to be half as responsive to changes in price. So this quantity supplied increases only half as fast. Let's have a look. So we've got the new supply equation there. QS equals minus 20 plus 5p. Before it was plus 10p. So we can see that quantity supplied is only increasing half as fast. And that's the difference between the two supply curves there, S1 and S2. Right, just like with plotting a demand schedule, we don't need to construct an entire supply schedule to be able to draw the supply curve. Again, we only need the 2 points, x-axis intercept and the y-axis intercept, where the supply curve cuts the x-axis and the y-axis. So 1, quantity supplied when price equals 0, and then the price when quantity supplied equals 0. The first, the x-axis intercept is an easy one. All we're doing is multiplying that 10 by 0, so it must cut at minus 20. That's the x-intercept. One more step to calculate the y-axis intercept, find the y-axis intercept. So quantity supplied, we set that to 0. So now 0 equals minus 20 plus 10p. Rearranging that equation, we have 10p equals 20, 20 divided by 10, and price is equal to 2, which is the y-intercept. So when we plot this supply curve on the price axis, it'll be $2 where the supply curve meets the price axis. And on the quantity supplied axis, it will be minus 20. So we're plotting the x-axis at minus 20 and 0, and the y-axis at 0 and 2. Putting our points in, there goes minus 20 and 0. When price is 0, quantity supplied equals minus 20. And when price is 0, quantity supplied equals minus 20 units. Sorry, when the quantity supplied is 0, then the price equals $2. 2 points, join them up, and you have your supply equation. Not too difficult at all. And we'll do lots of practice with this. Shifting a supply curve. So here goes our quantity supplied equation, minus 20 plus 10p. Okay, so we have a change now. The supply decreases from QS equals minus 20 plus 10p. Now it becomes QS equals minus 40 plus 10p. So we just go through and calculate the quantity supplied using that new supply function. And we can see that supply has decreased. It's shifted to the left. Less is being supplied at each and every price now.